Can you just state your name and ask your question? I don't know.
I'm sorry. Hi, I'm Ariel. I had a question in regards to people who do have their bread and butter job and also pursuing the artistry. Could you give some examples of great jobs in New York that are flexible for actors, and also some of the methods that you use to also incorporate work in your schedule and not let your artistry fall by the wayside?
Can I just say that's the first time I've ever felt a little guilty about having a bread and butter job. My mom always was proud of it. I'm like, that's great. Just kidding. No, I'll let you guys address it because you probably deal with it more than I do.
I do a lot of different things. There are times when my income, I can rely fully on just entertainment, and then there's the reality of I need to figure something out. So I do stuff that's kind of a tangent. I do wine tasting sometimes that can pay anywhere from $25 to $45 an hour. There's a lot of marketing companies for what they call promotional work.
I have a list I can send you.
And it can range anywhere from 25 and up, and most of the time they're in the evening. So your days are still open, so you can go and do what you have to do. And I would suggest, as having a lot of time in your day, work like a corporate person does. Start your day at 10, end at 6, start at 9. Like, you have to get into a rhythm because it's so easy to just, I'm going to wake up at 11, I'm just going to tinker around and do some work at 9 p.m. But you have to get into a daily system like a regular job because it's your real job. So I would say for me, I do promotional work sometimes. Like, don't be surprised if you see me one day and I'm just like, hi, would you like to try this egg roll? And I'm in a grocery store. But I'm doing it because it allows me the funding to help create projects and things like that if I'm not able to get the money donated to me. I would also suggest, like, a lot of people do catering. Some people do bartending, but be careful because the hours are really late, so you may be out till 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and then you're too tired to wake up in the morning, and safety for a woman. Then you're too tired to wake up in the morning, and you're drained, and then you're oversleeping for your auditions, and then you look like crap. So, hey, if you got to deliver pizzas, do it. You know, like, there's a lot of different things that you can do, and there's a lot of people, especially in the New York area, that have these evening or early evening or flexible jobs with marketing and promotions. You see the people in the streets, here's some dog food, or here's free cans of Starbucks coffee. Like, those people are getting paid like $20, $30 an hour. Ask them, hey, who's the company that you're working for? And it's respectable work, and you meet people, and it can kind of be fun. Thank you.
Might be your agent.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Well, any time that you're doing something that puts you in front of people, that's what acting is, right? Is those relationships. So the more that you're interfacing with people, the better. GraceWorks, I'll plug GraceWorks. It's been from 1/3 to 60% of my income every year, and if you put it on the calendar, it's very manageable. Most of it's during the weekdays, and my plays I do on the weekends, so it fits very well. So I would highly recommend auditioning for us.
Great question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, one last one. I am going to perform in Africa in 2014.
Woo!
And that will be the 6th continent on which I perform.
What country?
If it all works out, Kenya, Malawi, Nigeria, Congo, South Africa, and Zimbabwe.
Yeah, I'm going.
They're all, come along. I have no money to pay you, but and they don't have money to get us there. So we're praying for the funding to come in, that I can accept as many of those invitations as possible. But at any rate, it brings me to the way I'm going to get to the last continent, which is Antarctica. And I'm going to write a play about Shackleton, who was a believer, from what I understand. I haven't done a lot of research yet, but he went to Antarctic, to the South Pole, or that was his goal anyway. But he had a lot of Christian principles he used in his leadership. So my goal is to write a play that can be booked on a cruise ship going to Antarctica. So this brings up cruise ships. I have a friend who is still out there. He's still out there. He's being paid to perform. He's getting, significant income and paying no rent and seeing the world.
They had an ad in Backstage last week about they're hiring people for cruise ships. If you could check it out.
Yeah.
And then I think we have time for like one more question, or maybe two more. Orange shirt, red shirt.
Hello, my name is Jared, and a question for all you three. The first one is can you talk a little bit about the different opportunities here on the East and West Coast, California, New York, two totally different animals. If you could speak to that a little bit, and then also just the general expectations of maybe what you guys have encountered with working with directors, such as, like you said, maintaining that open line of communication and being upfront with them about what you will and will not do.
I'm not the best one for the East and West Coast part. That you guys might be better for that because I've only been here.
I can only interject we work with VIPs from both coasts and from around the world, actually. So I have had conversations with agents from LA, and I've had conversations with agents from New York. And I do it every time I'm with them so that I can help my performers. I have my favorite agent from LA is with Rage Talent and Models, I believe it is. She is so honest with people because when we get done our events, they've had exposure to agents and casting directors, and they're excited and they're going out to conquer the world, and they're going to buy that one-way ticket to LA. So I always have them go to her table and talk to her because what she'll say is, get a job. Don't come to LA with one-way ticket and think that you're going to be in the next big feature film. Get a job. And so I think it's the same in both coasts. I really do. And I always tell my guys, and I think kind of like you do, I'm like a networker. And I always say, go find the restaurant that every director and big star goes to and wait tables there, and don't drool on them when they come to the door, but just start the relationship. If they're a regular, who knows where that will lead? That's the kind of thing that you do. So that's just I think it's not really that much different. I mean, I think that in LA it's a much more chill environment. It's not as intense as here, but it's the same. Go get them kind of thing. You just have, like you said, get up in the morning, have a plan. Don't just let the snooze button be your director.
One thing that I picked up over the years, I've never worked in LA, but one thing I picked up on is that they're less theater-based. In other words, one I don't even mean in terms of what's respected, but in terms of their knowledge. Because we all know, I hope you all know, that theater is the best prep for film. I mean, obviously there's differences in the acting. You got to pull it back. But the foundational principles of memorization, of connecting with your fellow actors, it's all so critical. And yet, that's not really perceived that way, I don't think, as much in LA. I overheard somebody saying that someone was looking over somebody's resume and they said, I'm sorry, what's a Tony? Yeah.
A Tony is an award for theater.
I hope you all know that.
And do we have how much time? What time is it? Do we have time for 2 more questions? 9:17 right now. 9:17. So,
can I one more addendum on LA? A lot of Christians out there too. You can get plugged in if you feel you're let there. There's a whole network of believers there. Hollywood Prayer Network, Hollywood Press.
We're really connected with them.
do you all have time for 2 more questions?
Sure, I do.
Right, sure.
Hi, my name's Natalie. I'm actually from California, and I've been here just a little bit over a year. To be honest, my hardest thing with this industry is, we just touched on it, networking. Something that the Lord has really been laying on my heart is just being intentional with people. in viewing this as a ministry, but something of being intentional of a genuine spirit. And so I guess my thing is, and I've done a few projects here since moving here, but you know, you get into a project, you meet people, you build a relationship, and then immediately everything, like the show closes, they go on to the next thing, you go on to the next thing. And so I guess the thing I'm struggling with is, I don't know if I really am comfortable with the idea of networking, but how do you build, you know, if you are here to be a, you know, a representative of Christ and vocationally live out your faith, I don't want to be the same actor that just does their thing and then constantly doing what they can. You know, you touched about giving yourself, and my dad always told me, you know, no job is beneath you, but just be the hardest worker that you can be. But I want to do it from a genuine spirit, not how do I get ahead, but more of what is the difference I can make here. So I guess just being intentional, but not like, you know, the fakeness, I guess.
You have something that many people in this industry don't have, and that's the love of Christ. And that's genuine. And so I hope Jeanette knows that when I send her emails, they come from a true place of my heart. But you can encourage people that you just can't. You know, get their Facebook or get connected somehow. And once in a while just say, you know, I've been thinking about you because you told me your aunt's daughter was struggling with X, Y, and Z. You know, make it personal. Everything we do, you know, I buy an ad. If I don't care about that ad lady, she's not going to think about me when she has a sale. Right. And I don't do it just for that reason. I really care about Barb. I care about her. And it's just something that comes not because of me, please. I am not that kind of person. Sometimes I can have almost the traits of a man where I'm so busy I just keep going. And I shoot emails and I have to stop and soften them. That's who I am. And so I definitely have to make myself, when I think of something that comes up that reminds me of someone I've worked with, I then stop and say, God, this person needs this. And God will lay in my heart, send them an email, you know, and just do it out of a genuine place.
One of the speakers we've had out at MasterWorks, it was one of the best talks I've ever heard. And he said, we have to stop seeing our lives as if it's a movie or a story about ourselves, and see ourselves plugging into the story of God. What is God up to? What is God doing? And how do I plug into that? Because if it's all about us, faceplant, you know? I mean, come on. But if it's about God, everything has its purpose. Everything has its place. You asked us to come with our favorite scriptures. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 is mine. Trust in the Lord with all your hearts. Lean not on your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your paths. Down to the little minutiae of whether or not I should spend time on Facebook. Oh, goodness, who knows how much time goes into Facebook. But sometimes I feel like the Lord really did something and ministered, you know.
I completely understand where you're coming from. When I moved up here from Texas, I felt like, wow, I had these new friends, we just did this great project together, and then the project was over, or, oh, we're going to get together and have coffee, and then people would flake, and now I've kind of turned into that person sometimes, but not that person. But what I try to do is, I try to take it old school, and I do thank you cards, and I mail them.
Good for you. That's
and
great.
people are like, oh my gosh, I got a thank you card, Christmas card.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep a list. Every time I have a little book, and every time I do a film or any project or whatever, I write down the names of the people, so that way I know, oh, they're going to get a Christmas card. Even if it's like 8 months later, and then, who is this girl? Oh. Because sometimes it gets weird if you're just like, hi, how are you? Here's my business card. Hi, here's my business card. And every once in a while, I haven't done this yet, but Jeanette's good at it. Have a gathering and just say, you know what? I'm going to invite 20 people to go to this lounge, and we can all meet and just kind of chat and have drinks and celebrate something. Celebrate fall is here. Let's have a fall celebration. Or let's have a viewing party for the Oscars or something, and that will give you a reason to kind of bring everyone back and like suck them back into like, oh wait, get grounded. Remember how funny I was? Remember, what are you working on? Oh, and then the last thing is humble yourself and support other people's projects.